Hey guys, it's Green Zero here with a quick introduction to Renegade Wars. That's right, this is Renegade Wars. We're going to go through the map details and show you what's what, jumping straight into things. So basically each team starts in a corner. If we bring up the details, we can see the map available from the website, game replays and all the details there. CGF has that. So basically we're going to go around this area here. Basically you've got your main base, you do generate a little bit of income from there. You have a main base shop where you can purchase upgrades from, and here is your tower, which must be defended. You have to defend the tower. If the tower is destroyed, then basically you lose the game. In order to destroy the tower, you must destroy the sonic emitters protecting it first. We can see there's some barracks and a tower positioned over here, here and here. The same is mirrored on the other side, except instead of being a burnt out area, it is a treed area. So there's towers and everything protecting that. Now basically these barracks will automatically spawn infantry units which will run down these corridors to engage the enemies. There's multiple towers. If we go down the right hand side here, we'll see towers moving down here. There's a secret shop over here where a separate bunch of upgrades can be purchased from. The infantry will move around the map. The towers will fight the towers will fight the infantry as they move around, and the same is mirrored on the other side here. So there's GDI equipment. So essentially the bottom is a GDI team, the top is a nod team, but it doesn't really matter. You can choose whatever you want. The same is mirrored here. We can see the shops, the statue, the sonic emitters, the towers, and the barracks. We're not going to go around the left hand side because it's the same as the right. We'll go down the center. You've got towers here, and then the river crossing, which is a focal point here. And as you can see, the same is mirrored on the other side. There's a few other bits and pieces. There's a second shop here for advanced upgrades, very expensive but very good upgrades positioned here. There is a defensive tower you can take shelter in and also control over here. If we jump, the same is mirrored on this side here. We have a shop. The area here is a little bit different. It's not 100% symmetrical, but it's still pretty good. But you've got a lot of terrain you can jump across, and of course the hidden shop for this side is over here. It doesn't matter which shop you go to, as long as you're there you can purchase upgrades from it. You don't have to be on a particular side. Additionally, we have crates which will randomly spawn in these locations here and here. You can see there's no crate on this side just yet. There are random enemies sitting in enclaves here. If you kill them, you can get a lot of money from them, and you can obviously rank up as well, but they are particularly difficult to kill, especially at the start. Later on you can kill them. You can see that they're just chilling around in these enclaves here where you can just go and try to snipe them down. You can't really take them on at the start because they're quite powerful and you will die. But the idea is to destroy the towers, as we can see this team doing here. You want to destroy the towers, which will allow your infantry to progress further through the map. The infantry over time, as we can see here, will slowly upgrade, and their ranks will increase to match that of the heroes, which will also rank up. Heroes can rank up to 10 levels, the top level being level 10. They all start off on level 1. So basically they unlock more powers as they rank up, become more powerful, etc, etc. Once you breach through the main base, if you can destroy the barracks, you won't actually prevent infantry from spawning, but it will cause them to lose a veterancy, which makes them easier to kill. So it really puts a lot of pressure on the team that starts to lose the barracks, and it's a bit of a reward for the team that destroys the barracks. We've got a couple of random structures here as well, but the games can vary. A quick thrashing is over in about 10 to 15 minutes. The average game is about 20 to 25 minutes. We've had some very close games around the 25-minute mark, but you pretty much learn the map quite quickly. It is particularly large, but I mean, it's not really that large. If you zoomed out further, which you cannot do because of the zoom specifications, you need to be closer to see what's going on. You'd see that it's not too large, but yeah, the idea is basically to there's a night cycle as well. Cut myself off mid-sentence there, but the night cycle will reduce vision of all the heroes and the units there, so it makes it particularly useful for people to fight there. We can see this fight is well underway between these two factions here. The idea is it's a 3v3, but that is a general layout of the map and the goals of the game. Relatively straightforward. It's got a lot of depth. It's reasonably easy to pick up. Obviously you need to practice a little bit before you can really start to get a handle on things, but it is extremely enjoyable. I definitely recommend it. There's a lot of teamwork as well, especially with the heroes. Losing a hero is very important because it puts a delay on your respawn, and of course generating money. If I didn't mention that, the crates which respawn in the center will generate money, and of course killing enemy units. They'll also drop crates which heroes can collect by selecting them. If they're in range, they can collect these crates we can see on the ground, but they're too busy fighting here, because when you collect crates, obviously you stop shooting it takes a second or two just to pick up all the crates. Here we can see the red player there collecting some of those crates and getting some money. Heroes, when they die, will drop a particularly expensive crate that you definitely want to pick up here, not being picked up because this was a pretty nub game that we're seeing just here. But yeah, essentially you've got some abilities that you can see on the side. We can see someone's checking a hero to see what their status is here. But there's a lot of cool stuff here. The CGF obviously needs to just finish things off a little bit. But that's the general layout. We're not going to watch this whole game because I've got another game here for you. But basically that's it. Yeah, kill the other guys, get upgrades, get money, work as a team. It's great fun. I highly recommend it. We're going to jump into the heroes right now. Here they come. Okay guys, so we're going to start off with Stormhammer as the first hero. What do I have to say about Stormhammer? Well, he's a good hero to start off with, especially if you're new to the game, because he's very easy to understand. He's a very straightforward hero unit in the game. He's on the offensive class. I've designated him as offensive class. Basically, he's a bit of an all-rounder. He's good. He's got good armor. He's got good attack. He's got good survivability. He's not particularly impressive in any one particular department, but he's good across the board. He's usually got something to handle every task, so he's reasonably popular to start off with, and very good for the team here. So he's got a couple of abilities here. His primary weapon is a carbine, so it's got moderate range and moderate damage, so again, pretty mid-range there. His passive ability is that when he's on low health, he gets a 40% armor boost, so he's actually pretty hard to snipe down right at the last moment. He's a very in-your-face commando. They're very aggressive as well. His first hero ability is an EMP shot, so the EMP shot will deal slight damage to infantry and it will slow them down, and you can also disable certain vehicles and structures as well. His second ability, which is available at level 2, is boosting his armor by 75% for 10 seconds. That's reactive armor, so when you get into the combat there, armor boosts are amazing because they protect you so well, so you can use that one. Fragmentation rounds, again, it just gives him an attack damage or area of effect, basically splash damage for 12 seconds, so his carbine will then spray down multiple enemies at the same time. So he gets a lot of AoE damage there. And hyper jump, it's not just a jump jet, so he does get a jump jet ability, which is nice, but it also increases his attack damage by 150%. That's right, 150%, and it increases his hero speed by 15% for 10 seconds. So he's designed to be super aggressive. He's designed to jump jet into combat, take a lot of damage, deal a lot of damage, and then get out and wait for him to recharge. So he's a very in-your-face commando. Advantages, he's got great armor. He's got really good firepower as well. He's got a lot of weapons that he can do a lot of splash damage with, and he's got good survivability because of his armor and his abilities, his passive abilities. Disadvantage, he doesn't have any super long-range weapons or anything like that. He's pretty much mid-range. He's not particularly quick. I mean, he has got speed, but there's a lot faster heroes than him, and he's very weak to stealth as well. Stealth heroes can sneak up on him, kill him very quickly. He can't outrun them. You can try to jump jet away or kill him. He's very powerful in there, but it is nonetheless a disadvantage. That's Stormhammer. We're going to jump into the next hero right now. Okay guys, so the next hero we're going to do is going to be the Sharpshooter, which is a GDI sniper unit. This guy here, I've designated him as support, so he's designed to sit back, support his team. He's not a front runner by any means, and he's not on the defensive by any means either. So he's got obviously some really good abilities as well. Primary weapon is actually submachine gun, so he doesn't actually have a sniper rifle as a main weapon. It's kind of like a rapid fire submachine gun, moderate range and damage again, so very similar to what you see with Stormhammer there. But he does have the passive ability of innate stealth, so when he's not firing or using his abilities, he's actually stealth. Actually, I believe he is still stealth while using certain abilities, but he basically has stealth, which is really big obviously for a sniper unit. Hero abilities, artillery bombard, so you can call him an artillery shell anywhere on the map, as long as he's in range, of course. That will help out against vehicles. Infantry, slows their movement, does a lot of damage. His second ability is actually the sniper rifle, so you can switch weapons to the sniper rifle. It lowers his rate of fire, but it increases his range by 66%, giving him the longest ranged weapon in the game. He can sit right back and snipe from afar, do a lot of damage. It does slow his rate of fire, like I mentioned before, but the damage increase is significant. Lasts for 18 seconds before he switches back to his primary weapon. The Sniper Nest, I'm a bit on the fence about this. I'd rather see it replaced with like a Vanish ability, but we'll have to see how that goes. But the Sniper Nest will deploy a Sniper Nest. It will increase rate of fire by 50%, and it will increase his armor by 100%, but it prevents movement. The Nest will also slowly heal the Sniper over time. Note that it does use energy while you're in the Sniper Nest as well, so you can't sit in it forever, otherwise you use all your energy up. The last one, Firehawk Strike, calls in dual Firehawks for airstrike. Now, if you target a unit with the Firehawks, they'll actually actually come in with missile loadout and fire at the unit. They'll be lock on, so they'll never miss. If you just order it to attack a building or just the ground, then they'll come in with firebombs. Firebombs do a ton more damage, but of course there's a delay between calling in the Firehawk strike and them actually flying in to do the strike, so you got to be careful with how that goes. But nonetheless, advantages, he's got great range, there's no question about that. The sniper is basically the long-ranged hero in the game. He's got stealth and he's pretty quick. He's not the quickest commando, or he's not the quickest hero unit in the game, but he can get pretty quick, especially with the speed upgrades. But he's very powerful at the start of matches. We've found out very powerful, but as the match goes on, he loses his edge a bit. You've got to be really careful playing him. He definitely is a support unit, quite powerful and very annoying if used correctly. In the late game, he can be quite annoying as well, because he does have a high damage output, but he doesn't obviously isn't able to take any armor, so he has very little armor. He's weak to anti-stealth, and he doesn't have a terrible amount of firepower. I mean, he does have a low rate of fire, so a lot of damage, but low firepower, so he can't deal with a lot of splash damage or area of effect, things like that. But nonetheless, that's his sharpshooter. We're going to move on to the next hero right now. Okay guys, so the next hero we have on the list is the Fanatic Acolyte here. The Fanatic Acolyte is a Nod Fanatic unit, so I put him into the offensive class here because I believe he's more of an aggressive type unit here. But he's very unique. Obviously all the heroes are unique, but some of them a bit more than others. He actually has his primary weapon is a close range melee attack, so he has no ranged weapon on him. He actually has to get to close combat, and it's a melee weapon, so he has to run right up to you to do damage. But he does a lot of damage. His passive abilities, if you kill him, he does explode and do a lot of damage, of course, but just looking at those stats there, you're probably wondering why, well, he doesn't seem to be that good at the moment, but trust me, in-game he's quite powerful. Our Supernova CGF, they do like to play this guy a lot, and you've got to keep away from him, because in the melee, he will wreck you. His ability, so Molotov Cocktail, which is his first one, it just throws a Molotov Cocktail, which does heavy area of effect damage, so it's just a splash damage weapon, does quite a lot of damage. The Smoke Screen is what you've got to watch out for, his second ability. The Smoke Screen Grenade, it creates a smoke screen, it covers a pretty big area too on the screen, and it will reduce or slow enemies by 50%, including heroes. So if you get stuck in it, you've got to try to get out of them really quickly, and it doesn't affect the speed of allies. So basically, the enemy is going to be like pouring through there. Also, it grants stealth to allies within the vicinity, and it eliminates your vision as well. So if you're in the smoke screen, you literally can't see anything. All your vision goes. So it's a really good ability. It doesn't sound like it on paper, but you'll get wrecked. I try to steer clear of these things as much as possible. Militant Disguise, so you can disguise yourself as a militant soldier. He does lose a bit of speed while he does this, but he does gain a weapon with moderate range and moderate damage. So he gets one of the rifles, basically. He also has stealth when he's around other militant soldiers, so it's impossible to tell him apart from the others there. So that's something to think of as well. I've often seen them running around, and it really catches you by surprise. The last one, Tiberium Infusion, it grants a 25% speed increase, which you got to watch out for, 15% damage increase, and regeneration is at 5 health per second, lasts for 15 seconds. So that's basically just like this huge buff they run into combat with. And you got to watch out. The Fanatic Acolyte can kill heroes pretty quickly. He's very deadly in the close combat. So his advantages, he has a lot of firepower, a lot of splash damage. He has a lot of output passive abilities. He's got pretty good armor as well, because obviously he's a melee unit, and he's quick. You got to watch out. He's pretty bloody quick, this guy. You got to stay away from him. Disadvantages, I only have 2 here, because they're pretty big disadvantages though. So range, he's basically screwed at range. He'd need some type of upgrade. They'd have to purchase from the stores to get any type of range weapon there, so it's a really big disadvantage. And stealth, obviously he doesn't really have stealth aside from his militant disguise. He is vulnerable to stealth, but nonetheless he is a pretty potent hero, and range definitely is his #1 weakness right there, but it's a really big weakness for him. But nonetheless, very popular hero. We'll move on to the next one right now. Okay, so the next hero we have here is going to be the Silhouette Master. So the Silhouette Master is going to be a Nod Shadow unit, so basically one of the Shadow Team members, and he's another tricky one. He's yet going to be the second stealth hero we're going to come across here. He's a class type as support. I put him through as support again. Most stealth heroes are support. Basically, he's not a frontline unit, but he's not a backline unit either. He's there to support. His primary weapons are machine pistols. Now, these have really high damage. They're really powerful, but they have a very short range, so he busts out of the stealth, does a ton of damage and then gets back into the stealth. So he is the ultimate ambush type hero. If you like ambushing people, he's going to do a way better job than the sniper, I can tell you that. The sniper is your ranged ambusher, I guess, not so much ambush, but this guy here is your close combat ambush. He has in it stealth, just like the sniper as well. His abilities, so he has an explosive charge. He can throw an explosive basically charge, which will detonate after 2.5 seconds, causing very high damage. But if you destroy it before it detonates, the damage is reduced by half. The explosive is stealth. Obviously, infantry can detect it if they crash into it. So even if you destroy it, it still will basically go off, but it will do less damage. Activate glider will increase speed by 25%. Of course, you're going to be flying while this happens. It does decrease the armor by 15%, so you've got to be careful you don't get hit by anti-air. The hero abilities can still be used while flying, so this is a great way to get around the map, back and forward to the main, to the shops, over terrain, and basically just to be annoying with you using your powers while you're flying around. You can use upgrades and powers and stuff like that, so it's very potent there. He can cause a lot of problems when the other heroes are engaging and things like that. But he's your ultimate ambush type hero. His last two abilities, of course, so he has deploy beacon. He can deploy a beacon which grants vision for up to 120 seconds unless it's destroyed. It will also combine with the Spectre Bombard, which is the final ability. The Shadow Team can call in a Spectre Strike within range. However, if he has a beacon, he can fire in the beacon. So if he's on the other side of the map and he's got a beacon on the other side, he can just call in a Spectre Strike without even being close by. So the beacon does combo with that there. But advantages, he does a lot of damage very quickly, but a disadvantage is he doesn't have firepower, doesn't have a lot, he can't deal with a lot of enemies, basically. That means advantages, of course, again, stealth and speed. I'm pretty sure he's the quickest hero in the game. I don't know the exact stats here, but he seems lightning quick. Again, disadvantages, he has bugger all armor. He's alongside the sniper there, being extremely weak with armor, and he's very vulnerable to anti-stealth. Not as much as the sniper because he's so quick. But nonetheless, you got to remember these guys are going to get upgrades as well. They purchase from the stores. But nonetheless, he's your ultimate ambush unit. We'll move on to the next hero right now. Okay, so our next unit is going to be Patch, and Patch is the GDI engineering unit. He, again, a very unique hero. Obviously, like I said, they're all pretty unique, but some of them stand out a bit more than others. He's the only hero type I've classed as defensive. Now, there's only 8 heroes, which is plenty, but he's the only one who can really go alongside the name as being a defensive hero here. Basically, his primary weapon is a combat pistol, moderate range and damage. Once again, nothing special there. Passive abilities, he has a battle drone which provides passive repairs and firepower. Haven't actually noticed this, but apparently it will shoot at people as well. So that's something that will follow him around and provide him with repairs. Obviously, he can repair infantry as well, which means he can self-heal, which makes him particularly good, particularly difficult to kill. His abilities, obviously, you can actually use the repair drone to target specific vehicles or units. Nothing special about that. If it's repairing something you don't want it to be repairing and you want to switch targets, you can do so. The next one is important, the Guardian Cannon. So this deploys a railgun-equipped Guardian Cannon here. Basically, with this one here, the railgun does do a lot of damage, so it includes anti-air rocket pods as well. It self-repairs and it detects stealth. This thing is a monster. He can set down, and again, this is going back to classing him as a defensive hero. He can get to a position and defend it, hold it down, block enemies out of the area. He also summons an APC as his next one, which is very important. Again, it's partially EMP resistant, so have a good time trying to shut that down. It can transport heroes, including the engineer, much faster. And of course it can deploy its mines as well, so that will help in the defense. EMP lockdown as well, causing an EMP strike. Now this disables structures and vehicles, but it also disables hero abilities as well as certain powers, and it slows down infantry. So that is actually going to be a super annoying thing to come down on the enemies when it disables all their abilities and things like that. But anyway, there's a lot of upgrades at the store that are designed for Patch as well, like cooling in vehicles. He's basically your vehicle go-to guy. Calls in vehicles, has repairs, has guardian cannons, APCs, predator tanks, flame tanks, hammerheads. He's going to be, after all those upgrades, I can guarantee you, he's going to be a nightmare to deal with, and very potent as well. But he can hold down an area. He's not particularly aggressive. He can support, but mainly he can hold the line. That's why I've given him defensive. So he's got good armor. He's got good firepower because he's got so much stuff at his disposal. Very durable as well, so giving him durability points. But he's not particularly quick. Obviously, he can get speed upgrades, but they're not going to be as fast as the other heroes. He can't do a lot of direct damage, so he's got a lot of firepower, but none of the stuff that he has will output a lot of damage. It's kind of like spread even. And of course he's a bit weak to stealth, but nonetheless he's got stealth detection, so as long as he's played right, he should be fine. But Patch, a very unique hero. We're going to jump on to the next one right now. Okay, so the next hero we have here is going to be Red Widow. So Red Widow is going to be the Nod Commando unit. I've classified her as support. There was a bit of debate as what to put her as, because she kind of fills a niche, but it's very hard to describe the niche that she fills. Kind of like a cross between Stormhammer and probably like the Sniper. There's kind of a bit of mixed up there, but nonetheless, she feels a very nice niche. She's very difficult to deal with, this hero, I find, as well. Very annoying. But her primary weapon is a laser pistol. Now, this has long range. She's got a long range primary weapon, moderate damage, which is still pretty good, and in its stealth. So she's got the stealth ability as well, the last of the stealth heroes. We have 3 of them. 3 out of 8 have that ability. Her abilities, of course, laser scope will increase her range by 25% for 9 seconds, so that's a nice boost as well, able to do a lot of damage from range, because she's already got long range pistols and give them even more range. She'll be able to do a lot of damage from the back here. Frenzy mode increases rate of fire by 50% and increases her speed. Now, obviously this was very powerful, so it does decrease her armor by 25%, so you still have to be careful. You can combo it with laser scope, but again, she's just got a lot of damage output here. She's a very, very high damage hero. She's got hallucinogenic grenades as well, so this causes enemy units to attack each other, which also affects heroes. So if you hit an enemy hero with it, they basically can't control their hero for about 4 or 5 seconds while this takes effect. Very annoying. And a lot of damage gets done there. A lot of heroes go down this way. Last one here, Cloned Assassin. So basically it creates 2 Red Widow decoys. They have 50% the health and 75% of the attack damage of the real hero. So as your real hero ranks up, these assassins will become more powerful as well, because they have a certain percentage of your ability. The decoys can benefit from scopes and frenzy mode and abilities and things like that as well. And obviously the enemy can't see which ones are real, so it's going to cause them a lot of problems. But basically it just makes her a very annoying, very potent hero. So she's got the stealth, she's got a lot of damage and range, and she's reasonably quick. So you got to watch out there. But advantages, again, a lot of damage, very high damage. Weaknesses, firepower, because she doesn't really have the splash damage, and she can't deal with vehicles or structures, so she is lacking firepower, but she has very high damage weapons that she has here. They just don't basically spread out a lot. She's got stealth, and obviously her range is killer. Only the sniper will beat her in that area here. Disadvantages, she's got okay armor, but it's not going to be as good as the other guys here. I mean, she's probably along the same lines as Patch, I'd imagine, on the lower end of the spectrum here. Anti-stealth, obviously a weakness for all these guys here that have stealth. But anyway, that's the Red Widow. Very interesting hero unit there. We're going to jump on to the next one right now. Okay guys, so that brings us to the next hero, which is going to be the Zone Commander. So the Zone Commander is going to be a GDI Zone Trooper or / Zone Raider unit in this case here. Basically, very top tier, heavy end stuff here. Class type is definitely going to be offensive here, but it can suit a number of roles here. Obviously, the Zone Raider can actually be reasonably defensive as well in certain situations, because she's hard to remove from an area. But her primary weapon is a sonic rifle. It actually has, it's classed as long range, but I beg to differ in game. But moderate firepower, but it does have splash damage, so it's got a very low rate of fire as well, mind you. So it shoots pretty slow, but it does splash damage as a primary weapon, which is great. She's only one of two heroes which will do splash damage with their primary. Passive abilities: anti-air rockets. Yeah, I'll take those any day of the week. Automatic health regeneration. That's right. She gets power packs off the back. Now obviously you can still get power pack upgrades. There's actually 2 of them you can get, which will further boost that ability, but it's just saying right off the bat she's got a certain amount of health regeneration, so that means she can put off getting those upgrades, which are actually quite expensive till later on, because obviously they'll help out, but you don't really need them early on. Hero abilities: jump jet. It's just a basic jump jet, no special abilities, but she needs it because she's very slow. Okay, and she'll get dominated if she gets stuck in an area, so the jump jet helps increase survivability. Sonic wave is basically like a sonic blast, which deals damage or splash damage to all enemies within its path, so it does quite a lot of damage there. Very potent. Not sure how to say this, Jolenier strike or something. You could have just called it orbital strike, CGF. No one would have said anything, but I don't know even how to pronounce that word. Someone probably said some different language or something like that, but it calls it an orbital strike, which does very, very high damage, and if the units it doesn't kill, it will slow down a lot. So there is a delay on the call in though, so you're going to have a hard time calling in on units, but It's very powerful, uses a lot of energy, of course, and the summon drop pod basically calls in a zone trooper, which will also rank up as the hero ranks up, so it gives you extra firepower. Zone trooper does have a jump jet ability, but that's the only ability that the zone trooper has, so they can work as a team, and they are pretty nightmarish. Advantages, obviously, a lot of armor. This hero has probably, I would imagine, probably the most armor, probably equal with the Punisher, which is going to be our next one. A lot of firepower because of the splash damage this commando can do. Pretty much 3 of her abilities, or 2 of her abilities, are splash damage, and her primary is splash damage. So she's got a lot going for her. Survivability, she can survive for a long time as well. Disadvantages, she's not very quick. You have to get speed upgrades pretty quickly just to remain competitive there. Obviously, she's very weak to stealth as well. She's kind of weak to melee units, but I didn't put that in there, but that's notable because I spent a long time running away from the acolytes in my games with this Zone Raider. So very powerful indeed. A lot of firepower, a lot of splash damage, a lot of durability, but not so good on the speed, the stealth, and obviously the melee there. So you got to be careful. But definitely my favorite hero. But we're going to jump on the last hero coming up right now. So that's going to leave our last hero here being on the list as the Punisher, which is the Nod Black Hand unit. Another very heavy hitter, definitely an offensive class. Could somewhat be leaning towards defensive as well, I imagine, though, but I decided to put it down as offensive here. Primary weapon is a flamethrower, so very short range, but very high damage, so obviously that's a no-brainer there. One of a few heroes with a high damage primary weapon, but it is very short range. Passive abilities, a Confessor Aurora, which boosts the rate of fire of all nearby friendly units by 33%, so a third just for being in the area. Pretty cool, I'd take that any day of the week. Hero ability, the first ability is the Charged Particle Beam, so he can equip a Charged Particle Beam which deals very high splash damage at moderate range, and it lasts for about 12 seconds. Now, note he can still use his flame weapon at the same time, assuming the target is also in flame range, so he actually gets a boost there, but the Charged Particle Beam gives him a little bit of range there that he can use to engage with. Battle Chant as his next one, activates an Aurora which boosts nearby friendly units' armor by 33%, and increases their rate of fire by 50%, so when he's with a group of infantry units or a group of units, allied units, he can use that to just basically boost all their abilities. Definitely going to be very potent there. Definitely more powerful in a squad as well, this commando. But Firewall, obviously the next one, creates a firewall which has long range, or wall of fire, which is kind of long range. It goes for quite some time, deals high damage. So that's useful for blocking areas off. And the Confessor Ambush, I know the Firewall does use up energy while you have it running, so you can't just leave it running, otherwise you use your energy up. But the Confessor Ambush, the last one, very interesting hero ability that CGF gave this one. So it'll summon an enemy Confessor, one for each enemy hero, and it will ambush them wherever they are on the map, and it's equipped with a high damage rifle, hallucinogenic grenades as well, which can affect the hero. So it's mainly designed to cause disarray there, and I can imagine that would be particularly hard to get around, but it would use up a lot of energy. But advantages, again, very high armor, nice firepower from this guy here, and damage. He's one of the few that has both firepower and damage. Disadvantages, he's not particularly quick. Again, he's a slower hero, obviously. Stealth, he obviously doesn't do well against stealth, and he doesn't have any real ranged weaponry at all. I mean, the Charged Particle Beam is going to be as best as it's going to get for him, so he's got a few weaknesses there, but I've seen people pick him quite a bit, so he's reasonably popular. Every now and then someone will give him a try, but those are your heroes. Of course, we're going to jump into an actual game here as well. I'm going to commentate that one. Hope you're all enjoying this video so far. Here comes the next game. Okay guys, so I thought I'd bring some FPV footage because I did get a lot of footage, but I'm going to get some more of it. I can't wait to bring some more games here. This one's kind of like just a practice game. Everyone's still getting used to it. It's playing as the Zone Raider, still getting used to the Zone Raider. So that's definitely something here. As you can see straight away, I'm going to try to go for the monsters over here, or basically the beasts, and then CG's like saying, no, you can't actually take them on yet, you're not strong enough. Because normally I just go straight down the guts and try to get infantry, but that's actually what you're supposed to do. You can't really take these guys on early on. He's just saying that they regenerate. And obviously being the Zone Raider, I really like the Zone Raider. I definitely favoured that. If you notice the power bar, I didn't mention this before, the power bar on the radar, that's actually your energy level. So as you use abilities, you use up energy and it slowly regenerates. But anyway, I've got CGF on my team, and I do have, I believe I've got Panic on my team as well. I didn't even check who's on the other one. We played like about 7 or 8 games, so I didn't actually check the other team. But I'm pretty sure we played a lot of games with Nash, and there was another Ukrainian guy who played a lot I believe it was from Ukraine. He had UA in his name. He'd played a lot of Renegade Wars as well, and then we had 1 or 2 other newbies as well. But there you go. You can see I didn't even actually have time to look at that one, but nonetheless, Panic is here because he's got the Black Can unit, and yeah, basically, what can I say about this game mode? Even at the start, it starts off very tactical. You see my splash damage here, and picking up the crates, you've got to be on top of your crate collection because this is your money. You can see here, you can actually, I use the waypoint endlessly because it's so much easier. You want to play this game with the health bar on. Panic, you see he's auto repairing. You can buy health regeneration packs, which he's using now. They cost money. You can hold more than one as well. You can hold multiple of them. I'm not sure how many, if there's a limit, but I've purchased 2 before and used 1, and there's still 1 left, so you can use those if you don't want to go back to base to regenerate. Obviously the Zone Raider can regenerate outside of the base. You can see here this enemy hero is going to be coming at us, bro, and he drops a cocktail right in the middle and kills most of our infantry squad here. Infantry is important, of course, because you can get overwhelmed by these, so I've got to jump forward and backwards. Actually get myself killed there, which was a bit unfortunate. I got a little bit greedy there with my zone shot as well, and I'm just having a quick glance around. The upgrades seem a bit overwhelming at the start, but within like 2 or 3 games you've learned them all off by heart, and you know exactly what you want, where to get them, because there's 3 different upgrade stores. You can see right now I'm automatically purchasing armor upgrades because that's what I like to do as this hero. I like to get armor and firepower, and then just other things that give me good passive abilities and not so much call-in abilities. But a lot of the other, especially the support guys, the support heroes, they very much like to use the call-in abilities, not so much passive, and there's some really interesting abilities you can get as well. As you can see, just going to jump through here and jump up to level 3. Obviously you can go up to 10 levels. You can see the wormholes. That's how you get around the map really quickly. They cost money and they have a cooldown, of course. They're not the be-all end-all. You can actually, and you can see here I'm going to go grab that crate as well. This crate's worth a lot, so it's best to check these here. So there you go, 250 bucks. You know, considering infantry drop like 50 to 60 bucks, you want to come in, and I'm just going to jump jet in here as well. Just move up. One of the guys, Incapizer, did just leave the game, which would kind of wreck this game a little bit here, considering he just left without warning. We had a little bit of issue as well. Like in every single game we played, there's always one person who decided to just leave, or start the tutorial mode, or they'd use all the cheat crates, and I'm just like, oh man. But it's going to be 2v3. It can still be okay. I mean, obviously the other team do get the hero, but it's a lot to control. You can see here picking up the crates, 45, 60. They're worth different amounts here. Panic's only just reached level 2, or I'm on level 4, so you can see there now I'm obviously able to just outperform Panic a little bit here, and I've got all my abilities upgraded. The thing is that once you upgrade all your abilities, you use your power up really quickly. And you can see right now I've just completely like bottlenecked my power here, and I'm not going to have enough to really keep using them. And then once I use that zone wave, that really disabled most of my abilities, and I'm too quick here for Panic picking up all those crates. I'm not sure if, no, he did fall back. You can see him on the radar. He's that big red dot, unless he dies and he stays there. I got hit by the ability. No, there he is. He's just there behind me. You got to be careful if you're running the lane with an ally. Obviously you're very powerful doing this, but at the same time you're sharing money. And you can see here they both take each other out at this point. So if you pick up the hero crate, it gives you extra money as well, more than a regular. Got $100 for killing that hero unit. And you can see here now, I'm just like, alright, cool, it might be time to get out of here. I'm going to take a swing at these guys here, and there you go. Even ranked up a level, so that's pretty good. Just being careful. If there was a stealth hero nearby, I'd be pretty much history now, and I'm just going to fall back. You can see I'm actually going to call in this ability. This is so I don't have to go all the way back to base, and I can't seem to click on an area of the ground where it's going to work. Basically, yeah, you can call that in any way you want, and it allows you to put a wormhole there, so I don't have to rush back to any specific area. You can see that these dudes are here now, so I'm going to just get out of here and jump through the wormhole, and hopefully I can actually get my upgrade that I wanted to get. As you can see, I'm looking for it. I get the fuel cells, yep, and I'm going to grab the firepower. I don't think I'm going to be quick enough to get, no, not quick enough to get back through the wormhole, which is unfortunate, but you can use this ability as well that I have. It shows you kills, it shows hero kills and deaths as well, and your upgrades, so your total net worth, what kind of upgrades. Of course, it does show that to all the players when you do that, so you got to be I mean, it's going to show them what you're upgraded, but it's not terribly important. Here you go. I'm going to take a swing at these guys now, just like, hey guys, you're not so powerful anymore. Kill them both, and as you can see, they drop $90. So I got $180 from that, and that's important. You know, the upgrades. You can get some really good cheap upgrades, but then the really good ones, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars. These, you know, it takes a long time to get these upgrades. That Ravager was really powerful. He took off like half my health with one shot. Another enemy hero is down there. basically just call that orbital strike and it's very high damage, and it's starting to kill these guys. So as you can see, it's going to allow me to just finish these guys off, and then I'll be able to collect those money crates there. So 135 plus 45, so a lot more than killing infantry, of course, and you don't have to worry about them firing back too much if you can get them from range. But as you can see, calling my drop pod, because I've realized that I actually got that one now, so I'm going to start to roll with the zone trooper, which makes me very potent. Again, I put one on one control group and one on another, just basically 1 and 2. It's really easy. I look really forward to getting the zone trooper here because it's just added firepower. He can actually buff and tank damage while your hero gets away. You can sometimes, I find that I just sacrifice him, like you can just sacrifice him to escape, but after a while I realize, hang on a second, I don't really want to sacrifice him because he gets veterancy from the hero. And he's actually quite good and he can jump jet away, so I started to keep him alive for a lot longer later on. He does drop a lot of money for the enemy as well if he gets killed, so as you see, going to jump jet forward. With 2 jump jets, it's pretty good. I usually just give the zone trooper an attack order while I micro the zone commander, because again, he's got that rail weapon, quite powerful. Going to call in an orbital strike here, but it's got a little bit of a delay before it comes in, but it's going to score most of his infantry. And as you can see, I'm flat out of power again. Even with the fuel cells upgrade, the zone commander abilities are somewhat expensive, and there you go. I actually got the enemy hero there. I'm just going to queue some of these up. Some of them disappearing before I can claim them, unfortunately. Going to jump to this secret store as well because I got a bit of money, and I'm looking around. I'm looking at life drain. I like that one if I'm doing a lot of damage because it converts my attack damage, or a quarter of my attack damage, into health regeneration, which, being a tank, is something I definitely look forward to. And as you can see, I'm going to need the next fuel cells upgrade as well because I'm struggling to use my abilities here. My energy level is always so low, even with the upgrade. The level 1 upgrade, the zone trooper is just thirsty for energy. That's something I don't mention enough. Some of the other heroes have a lot less energy requirements than the zone raider does, or the zone commander. Going to call in the strike again. Probably didn't even need it. We were going to overwhelm this position, but of course the infantry rock up, and of course then that's just going to do a lot of damage to them as well. It's completely cleaned out that wave of infantry, and it's important to keep your infantry alive to push them forward because they do a lot of damage and they rank up over time as well. So as you can see, we're going to push down here. Panic is in the middle. You can see stuff happening over there. Just have a quick glance. Our enemy hero is there. I don't like the fanatic at all, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let's not get too close to him. He throws that, whatever that is, the Molotov cocktail. He's not doing too good. There's a defensive tower here as well. You can actually get inside the towers and actually use them to shoot at the enemies there. There's another secret store here for level 2. As you can see, I'm going to get the composite armor level 2 upgrade. I'm going to get lethal firepower, and fuel cells level 2 is very important as well. I'm getting everything that buffs my energy, my armor, and my damage output because again, I'm looking to go for a tank. Obviously, there's a full range of upgrades that are going to suit certain playstyles and certain heroes as well. Like I mentioned before with, say, Patch, you're probably not too interested in those upgrades I'm getting. You're probably more interested in getting vehicle upgrades and getting the ability to deploy more vehicles. And I lost my zone raider then, unfortunately, but I got out of the smoke grenade. The smoke grenade is a pain in the ass. I can tell you that right now. It is a very potent upgrade that the fanatic gets, and I don't even bother to go anywhere near that because it just wrecks you totally. But nonetheless, I might have to wait for some more infantry, but I called the zone trooper back in, and I know there's enemy heroes here. I don't have any stealth detection, by the way. There's a red widow here, which is a problem. And as you can see, I think it was being controlled by another. It was the player that had to control 2 heroes, so he didn't micro that very well whatsoever. It did become a bit onto our team because I was teamed with CGF, who obviously made the thing, and I'm Green Zero, so I've played a lot of Renegade Wars. But nonetheless, it's still reasonably good. And as you can see here, I'm taking a lot of damage. We actually did kill that hero there, but I took a ton of damage there. And now I have maximum range. See, queuing up all those what do you call it? Those crates. Get the extra money. And I'm going to call in the strike again here as well. Again, you can see the commandos there just running around. CGF is there, I believe. Oh yes, Panic's on my team as well. But yeah, I'll do my best to bring some more games as well because the games are really, really good. And I do regret that some of them didn't record. I didn't bother to initiate the shadow play. I normally have it on all the time, but for whatever reason I had it disabled. I think with the latest upgrade you have to re-enable it, so or with the latest driver upgrades you always have to switch it back on. But nonetheless, as you can see, we're starting to push forward now, and because our infantry is starting to build up behind us, so they're not killing infantry, there's just going to become more and more, and it's going to allow us to push. As you can see, I'm jumping back now because that's a little bit too much for me. I mean, if you die, you have to wait like 30 seconds at this point in the game to respawn. That's not an easy feat. As you can see, I'm going to be jumping, I'm going to be putting this down so I can get all the way back to the main base, because there's upgrades there I want, and I've got some decent money. And as you can see, I'm going to cast that in back to the main, and the zone trooper's just going to chill. I'm just going to leave him here, and I'm going to grab the upgrade that I need, which I believe was the legs upgrade. And as soon as it's done, I jump back through the wormhole, and there we go. And then I'm going to jump jet over here as well to get the other legs upgrade. That zone trooper is just about dead. So there's a level 2 as well. Level 2 is a passive, you have to activate it from the left hand side. It's only a temporary speed boost. So level 1 is passive and level 2 is activate. Just like the armor upgrade, you got to activate it. And at first I was a bit cautious about this, but then after a while it's like, actually that's actually a pretty good idea, because it makes it more strategical. And it's definitely, you definitely want to time it and things like that, without making the heroes invincible at a certain point. It's just like a temporary buff. But as you can see here, I'm pretty much all by myself, and I don't really want to be by myself here. So I kind of do. I take a lot of damage from that Red Widow, but it's not very heavily ranked because the enemy who was playing that character is no longer in the game. But I'm going to call back in my zone trooper because I got the energy for it, and it's already cooled down. So always want to keep him inbound here. Using the sonic grenades, again running very heavy to the center. Panic not doing too much because he's never played before, so he's still figuring out all the upgrades and things like that. The idea is of course to bring the right hand and the left hand side down as well, because if you can bring those down, it obviously encloses further upon the enemy base. But looking at this game here, I mean, this game was starting to become a little bit one-sided, but the games we played, a majority of them were incredibly close, like very tight. And I mean, we didn't even bother trying to balance the teams. We just had random teams basically. And we actually, we had some extremely tight games where both sides had basically taken out all the towers and even all the barracks just about, and then one side would snatch at the end. So we had some very tight games there. It was very close. As you can see, just jumping back here because obviously you're not invincible, even though the zone raider is pretty tanky. There's points where I've learned from previous games, no, alright, cool, we got to get out of here before it gets too dangerous. You can't let your health get too low because they will. Stealth units can come out of nowhere, they can hit you with abilities, and then you can get screwed over and killed. You really don't want to die because it takes a long time to respawn. You can buy back your commando, which is basically instant respawn, but it costs $1,000, and I can see that being helpful in the late game. Just lost my zone raider again there. And now I'm getting 2v1, so I gotta get out of here. Look at that, I'm taking a lot of damage. I'm using the abilities, both the armor and the speed boost, and I use the jump jet as well, but I'm still getting run down. This Fanatic is much faster than me, and he's actually able to get some damage on me here. I'm in a little bit of trouble. My jump jet's almost cooled down again, and the idea is to jump jet away from this. And as you can see, I just barely managed to escape. He almost killed me there, and then he tries to run around, but then realizes, no, he's not going to get around. There's too much terrain here as well, so that's not going to happen. Just walking through this area now. I was going to put down the thingamabob, but then I just decided, screw it, we'll just run there, and we'll use the speed upgrade as well. Oh no, there you go, I actually got to that tower, so that tower grants me obviously the ability to use a portal as well. Get some repairs up, and I'm just checking things out. Call him a zone trooper because, you know, you can get energy. I'm pretty sure energy regenerates faster here, I'm not 100% sure, but I've got the second level, and CGF just got an invincibility. And the thing is, when you get invincibility in this game, you can actually still shoot. You get it for killing the hexapod, and it's only temporary, so it only lasts a very short amount of time. But as you can see here, using the leg upgrade, it only lasts 3 seconds. I think it should last a bit longer than that. That's not quite worth the cost of it, because I believe it's like another $1,000 for that one there. And there we go, just won the game. So hope you'll enjoy that one. That's a very quick cap there. Obviously wasn't the best game to showcase, but I really wanted to get this video out here so you guys could see it because it's really good. I strongly encourage you play this game mode because a lot of people look at it and say, no, I'm not going to play it, it looks boring, it's too hard. Once you play 1 or 2 games, you'll be hooked and you want to keep coming back. Everyone who has said they don't want to play it and then played it has come back for more. So anyway, this video has been pretty long. I'm Green Zero, hope you'll enjoy this video. Stay tuned to my channel, more Renegade Wars coming up as soon as possible.